The last session. No intro? Oh no, okay, we got it. It was just slow in coming.
I think that's enough of that for now.
What?
You're quite fond of this show, aren't you? Okay, come on. Let's get you down to the observation room.
What the hell?
This place must be starting to feel like home to you. Don't worry. Try and get you out of here eventually. Just in here.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting wheeled off for some kind of interview.
Okay, are we through in the next room? Just relax and we'll get started in a moment.
So the intro was the TV show in the lobby or in the waiting room. They also had a zine for the computer that our dad gave us in the original flashback.
Right, Mr. Asian, now are you
Mr.
ready?
Asian again.
Just hit record on the tape deck in front of you when you're ready. This is subject 12-19-86-23, new session entry. We have myself, Dr. Alexander, leading, and in a room we have
Alexander was the code word.
Mr. James Asian. As we know, James has recently recovered from a 2-week coma following his accident. In our last 3 sessions, James's attempts to recollect events of the accident seen him merging his memory with his imagination. These episodes have always ended in panic, and we've had to terminate the session abruptly. Let's try and do this one better, James. So when you're ready, let's bring this back. I know how difficult this must be, but you can do this.
Okay, so for
James, it's time to remember.
the first 3 puzzle games were false memories.
Your mind, it's like a conscious black box. It can show you your memories. Look into it.
Okay, so our sphere friend is back. Are the walls bleeding? Is there no camera on the tripod anymore either? Did you see that?
In your most recent episode, you recalled a false memory of a
Yeah, the camera was, it turned into the ball.
weather station. You were isolated from the rest of the world, locked inside your coma. We interacted
Coma,
with
Central
you,
Operation Message Authentication, coma.
encouraging you to wake. Your family would do number puzzles with you. Anything really to bring you back. People needed answers, James. Do you remember?
I have another signal here for you, James. It's at 5610 FM. You can't miss it.
Type in the numbers, James. You gotta see this. This is 20F 12 19 86 23 04. Type in the numbers, James. You gotta see this. This is 20F 12 19
862304.
Code word reference is report.
The numbers, James.
Are we gonna do a little bit of each of the puzzles again now, it looks like maybe? Wait a minute. Report of traffic accident. James Asian. 20F, it was a fatal accident. What? Arrived on scene to discover two cars that had been involved in a near head-on collision. Mr. Asian found lying down outside his vehicle with head injuries. An ambulance was immediately called. His passenger was trapped in the vehicle in critical condition from wounds sustained in the collision. The driver of the blue sedan, Mr. Hennings, was found dead on arrival. It was noticed there was a strong smell of whiskey from the driver and an empty whiskey bottle on the passenger seat. Mr. Asian was questioned on scene. He described an oncoming blue sedan being clearly out of control, which he swerved to avoid. Mr. Asian's passenger was his sister, which is why his sister's room was boarded up and inaccessible. The driver of the blue sedan is an ex-police officer of 20 years. Remember in the first one, we kept on getting the note, get out of the car. You need to get out of the car. So wait, is there actually a code word in here? No. Report. Line 1, line 2, line 3. So what do I actually have to enter here? Postcode, that's just for Wilson. Maybe the stuff that's circled. Empty whiskey, out of control. So 20F, fatal accident. Empty whiskey, out of control. Let me try that. Yep, I know. 20F. Fatal accidents. It's all caps. I'll go back and tweak it if we need to. It looks like they're all caps, so hang on, let me try it. Empty whiskey, out of control. Hey, I did it.
Find the signal, James. Listen to the voices. You have to face it, James. Finally.
7,000 FM.
It's not like it at all. I've worked with Officer Hennings for 6 years, and not once have we even talked about alcohol. Drunk driving. He was a father, a husband. He was fine. No way he caused this. It's him, this Haitian guy. He's got something to hide.
The door slams shut, leaving you in darkness. A light flickers on. This doesn't make sense to you. Well, at least the game and I are seeing face eye to eye here. Because it doesn't. Oh, fuck. You step out into the hospital ward, only it seems abandoned. Your vision is blurry. All of your episodes recorded to tape. This is the 4th. Driving home, don't have that 5th pint. Oh my god, this is so crazy. You tense up. Someone else is here. Okay. Hello? Someone?
Today
Alexander's
was the
notes.
first session with Mr. James Asian, although I fear it will certainly not be his last. When asked about events that have happened in the past, he confused fact and fiction and told us a story about a computer game that was talking to him. I think he was back at his own house, his mum and dad's house, and he always talked about a room with a red X, one he couldn't get in. I don't know what any of this means or what it's got to do with the accident, but I guess some more sessions will maybe reveal that. We're going to try again tomorrow.
You grab the keys from the table. They weigh heavy in your hand. Remember in the first game, the key got really heavy? All right. Let me double check and make sure there wasn't a tape in here that I didn't see. Hey, there's no light bulb in this lamp. Tried to trick me, game, into thinking that you had light bulbs.
We found him lying there sobbing while his sister died in the car next to him. While Hennings died next to him. What the fuck was he thinking? She was still alive when we got to her. If he'd have done something, they could all still be here.
Hence the it's all my fault. Should really keep our hands nice and clean. All right. You spent most waking moments in here. Yeah, look, the story's Untold game. The only video they have, some horror compilation. It's trash. Fly safe, dreaming of Greenland, which is where our weather station was set. The house abandoned for the Futuro. Okay. You only caught a glimpse of the room. You guess that's why there's no detail here. Lol.
You honestly believe that Hennings was drunk at the wheel and not this little shit? If he wakes up, when he wakes up, I want answers. Until then, you handle it. You write it up. I'm out.
Another door you never opened. You don't know what was in here. It's talking about my travel through the hospital as if it was past tense, not now. The waiting area is dark, but you feel a presence. Okay, so now... What the... Okay. Someone breathes on your neck, standing over you. What the fuck? All right, let's just take this door and get out of here, yeah? No? Okay, we gotta go the creepy way. You feel dread in the pit of your stomach.
Okay, we have a 22-year-old male just brought in from a vehicle collision. He was awake and mobile at the scene, but collapsed on arrival to the emergency ward. The other passengers died in the accident. I'm getting no pulse. Prepare for defib. Amp charge full to 10 and give me 100 joules. Come on, 100 joules. Charging up full to 10.
What? Yeah, we're back in the lab. 100 joules.
Come on.
These aren't joules, but sure. No, not you. This is wild. We're charged. Amps at 10. What do you want, bro?
Can we get this on the screen, please?
Smart. We should. Oh, fuck.
Clear. No reaction from first stage. Let's try higher. 200 joules. Keep the amp charged to 10.
What?
200 joules. Keep the charge at 10. Let's go. Clear. Okay, we have a reaction of some sort here,
A weak signal.
Let's keep going. Increase again. 360, charge full. Come on, 360, hurry. Clear. Well, would you look at that? It seems we have a pulse. Rhythm is stable. We need to run an X-ray right away.
Okay, run an X-ray.
Where are we with that X-ray? Let's get it going now, please.
That was which one? This one.
Looks like an intracerebral hemorrhage. We need to drain this now to relieve pressure. Prepare for
My God, we're gonna use the drill on ourselves.
Switch on a drill, please.
Drill's on.
The drill, please.
It is on. Do I need this off? Or maybe this on RGB?
Mr. Asian, you've made excellent progress. You're doing great. We need you to stay calm and try to
What the fuck?
while we go through these next steps. We're going to attempt to alleviate some of this.
Alleviate some of this discomfort. The audio design right in my ears was so horrific. Now we're back to the house abandoned. We're gonna finally go through the door. Not only is tonight New Year's Eve, but tomorrow you leave on a 6-month trip abroad with friends. Mom, Dad, and your sister Jennifer have decided to throw a party to celebrate it all. The house is full. You're in the living room, and as usual, you don't recognize a soul. The room is full of chatty strangers, mostly friends of Mom and Dad. There's a door to the hall. You push through the crowd into the hallway. The hallway is as welcoming as ever, only this time the folks have put a great big banner up across the main wall. Half-finished drinks are abandoned on almost every horizontal surface. Stairs lead up, although the party is firmly downstairs. Go upstairs. As much as you'd love to, you promise you'd stay downstairs with the party. Look around. Same as ever, stairs, door to the living room, and a door to the kitchen. Go to kitchen. They say all the best parties are in the kitchen. That's a fact. The kitchen is full of people and loud. There are drinks and food on the table, and the party is in full swing. Dad has cooked a hog roast, which sits proudly on the table, although no one is eating it. So that's the carcass on the table in the memory. There is a utility room and writing on the wall. Also, Jen is here signaling you. Read writing. Happy New Year 1986. On another banner, weird place to hang it. So that's where our code came from. Talk. Wait, first let's go to the utility room. Go to utility room. Just as you are about to head inside the utility room, Jen places her hand on your shoulder. You hug. You're going to miss each other. You thank her for the party. She asks if you are enjoying the party. I am. She repeats the question, asking if you've had a nice time. I'm having a nice time. Yes. You tell her it's great, even though you don't really know anyone. She tells you to enjoy it anyway, and to loosen up. She asks you to get her a drink. Get drink. You pour Jen a drink, and one for yourself, too. Oh no. There's never an awkward silence with Jennifer. She always has a question. She asks if you have everything sorted for the big trip. Yes. You tell her yes, that you have packed everything with plenty of room to spare. Another hug. Your family really have gone out of their way to make this trip happen for you. It might be what you need to get some perspective, and maybe not fuck up so much. She's going to miss you. You are going to miss her. She walks away. Jen has disappeared into the crowd. You're left standing, nodding and smiling at the approving faces. There's so much to do for this move. Can't mess it up. But first, a drink. The room is full. There's a utility room and writing on the wall. Go to utility room. You open the door and peer in. You're never allowed in here normally. This is where Dad keeps his fine wines and whiskeys. Ceiling to floor racks. A collector, although he does actually drink them too. There's a bottle with a ribbon around it and a card. There are racks of fine wines and the door to the kitchen. Read card. You pick up the whiskey and the card. It's your dad's handwriting. Son, we're so proud of you and everything you've achieved. You've earned this. It's a bottle of 25-year-old double malt. You shouldn't really, but you have to try it. With your whiskey in hand, you take in the room about you. There must be hundreds, no, thousands of pounds worth of drink in here. You really must thank your dad for the whiskey. You head back into the kitchen, clutching your new best friend. You stumble out of the utility room and back into the kitchen. That is one strong whiskey. You take another swig and give the thumbs up to Dad across the room. He nods and winks. Busy and noisy. We'll need to find somewhere quieter. Go upstairs. Leave. You go back out to the hallway. A few bumps and laughs on the way through, and you make it to the hall. You stop dead in your tracks. It's Jen, covered in blood. She's staring straight at you. No one else notices. Blood is dripping down her face. It's mixing with tears. I'm sorry, I don't understand. I'm sorry, I don't understand.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
We tried our best, Mrs. Asian, but her injuries were too severe.
No, I don't understand. I was just talking to her.
I'm afraid Jennifer passed away before we could get to her in surgery. We did the best we could. I am so sorry.
Where is she? Let me see her.
Please, Mrs. Asian, take a seat.
I don't want to take a seat. Let me talk to her. Now.
I'll arrange for you to see her. In the meantime, James is in recovery. He's stable for now.
I don't want to see him.
You are standing in the hallway. Something had stopped you in your tracks. While searching your mind, your sister interrupts. She waves her hand in front of you and asks if you can drive her home. You still feel out of sorts. Those words echo. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Doors to the kitchen and living room lead from here, while stairs can take you up. You'd love to call it a night, but Jen is waiting patiently. Talk to Jen. Yeah, we can talk in the car. Go get your keys. There's no point till you find those car keys. You'd love to call it a night, but Jen is waiting patiently. So where are my car keys? In the living room? You're sure your keys are in the living room? The living room is a much more relaxed atmosphere compared to the kitchen. Various guests are sat on the chairs having civilized conversation. There's a coffee table in the middle of the room. Your mom is pouring a drink at the drinks cabinet. A coffee table, a drinks cabinet. One of the chairs is overflowing with jackets and coats. Look at table. Drinks on coasters, like proper civilized people. You can't see your keys. Talk to mom. Look at cabinet. Your mom's collection of wines and spirits. Definitely no keys in here. Look for keys. You need to look for them. They must be either in the kitchen or the living room. I didn't see them here. So go to kitchen. Leave. And then go to kitchen. Empty-handed, you head back out into the hall. You're standing back in the hallway, a bottle of whiskey in hand, but no car keys. Jen points to the living room and sighs as she puts on her coat. Go to living room? You're sure your keys are in the living room? Oh, maybe the coats? Look at coats. Get coat. A coffee table, a drinks cabinet. One of the chairs is overflowing with jackets and coats. Look at chair. Friends in conversation, jackets and coats everywhere. Look at coat. You search through all the jackets and coats until you find yours. Aha! Car keys in the pocket. You grab both. This is so terrible to have to go through this in slow motion. Keys in hand, you head back into the hall. Jen thanks you for helping her out. She has work in the morning and no one else is in any fit state to drive. You can handle it, though. You know the road like the back of your hand, don't you? Oh, this is awful. You open the front door and walk out into the freezing night. The cold air hits you. You are glad you have your jacket with you. There's a dusting of snow around you as you step down from the porch. The yard extends around the back of the house, and the car sits at the front of the house. Crisp snow, cold air, and dark. Let's get this over with. You fumble with the car handle, confused, until Jen tells you to maybe use the key in your hand. Fumbling with the car keys, you eventually get the door open and climb inside. The car is freezing. As you fumble around with your seatbelt, your sister opens up the glove box and hands you a note and a key that was inside. She tells you that it's for when you return. The note is from your dad and it reads, "Hi son. Hope you enjoy your break. You'll need to fire up the generator around back to get power and lights on. Also, found something in the attic for you. It's in your room. Enjoy." Car is freezing. Both you and Jen have your seatbelts on and are ready to go. It's time to go. Jennifer is getting impatient. If you value your life, you had better get her home first. Start car. You try to turn the ignition with sheer willpower, despite holding the keys in your hand. It takes a number of attempts, but you eventually slot the key into the ignition. You turn the key in the ignition and the car roars to life. The car squeals but stays stationary. Jen suggests releasing the brake, giving you a wide-eyed stare. I want to stop the car. Can we not do this? I want to undo this horrible mistake. Release brake. Oh, release brake. Maybe if I spell it right. You very hesitantly release the handbrake. You put the car in gear and pull out of the driveway like a first-time driver. You really shouldn't be driving. I am driving, very drunk on the road towards the town where your sister stays. Jen started dozing off as soon as the journey got going. This shouldn't take long. You come to a junction. Is it left or right? You can't remember. The road goes off to the left and the right. You can't remember which way to go. The roads are quiet, always. She grunts and throws her arm to the left. It's left. Of course it's left. Go left. You turn the car left at the junction and accelerate off. Confident that you're on the right road now, you loosen up and put your foot down on the accelerator. You feel powerful as the engine roars at your command. Jen sits up in her chair and clutches your arm. She asks you to slow down.
You're all over the place, James. Pull over.
Jen is hitting your arm and yelling at you. Crazy sister. Strange, there's a set of headlights coming directly at you, but really slow. Like slow motion. You try to react, but your body isn't responding. There's nothing you can do to stop this. There's no way you can control it. The lights merge with your car.
James, for fuck's sake, pull over!
The outside joins the inside. The whole world around you begins to scream.
It was at this very moment, wasn't it, James? The moment you lost it all. Your sister, your parents, yourself. And then you made it worse. Go on. Show us what you did.
You wake up in the car. Your world is upside down. Your seatbelt struggles against gravity, trying to hold you in your seat. An impact into another car has torn a hole in the chassis. Poisonous fumes spilling into your car from the engine. You are in grave danger. You have to get out of here. You can't move. Your seatbelt is still in place. Remove seatbelt. You release yourself from the seat. Gravity takes over as you slump on the roof of your car. You squeeze through the wreckage and fall to your knees on the ground next to your car. Every breath brings pain to your chest. Your head is throbbing. A blue car has smashed into the passenger side of your car. Your life cannot be ruined by this. You are standing, holding your whiskey and your dad's note, and flashing lights are approaching in the distance. A crash site. Smoke billows from the crashed cars to the sky above. Exterior lights flicking on and off. The door is jammed. You don't have time for messing around like this, James. Check on Jen. Drop whiskey. You can't just drop it here. As soon as they find it, they'll ask you questions. Plant whiskey. With the lights approaching closer, you begin to hear the shrill of their sirens. You simply cannot go to jail for this. You clean the bottle to remove your connection with the whiskey. You then, very deliberately, spill the remainder of the bottle's contents onto the driver, and you toss the incriminating evidence onto his passenger seat. A circle of flashing lights surround you, illuminating the crash site in the darkness. Behind them, an army of people all staring. One figure steps out, a silhouette, and walks towards you. The silhouette is a police officer, and in uniform. He beckons you to approach. As you approach the man, the pulsating lights around you get dimmer and dimmer.
I know you're tearing yourself apart over it, but no matter what you keep telling yourself, you have to listen to me. That accident, that poor man, me. You have to remember, it was all your fault. I know what you did. How you left me there to protect yourself. Planting evidence on some poor man. You went headfirst into that officer and you wrecked all of our lives. And then you couldn't even take responsibility. You did the right thing for you and no one else. Save yourself. Only it was wrong, wasn't it? Look at you now. Utterly consumed by it. Say it, James. Say it. Tell them. Listen to yourself.
This is so bonkers.
It has to end, James. Do you not understand?
Observation's the name of their second game.
This episode you're having must come to an end. Make it stop, make it stop. Do you remember?
Dr. Alexander is always watching everything
Stop
remotely.
the session, Mr. Asian. Well, I think we've made progress today, Mr. Asian. I guess we should tell the police what you've told us. Although I don't suspect it'll take you anywhere. I think you'll be with us for quite some time. Come on, let's get you back to your shows. I'll see you tomorrow.
That was intense. Wow. That's a pretty insane amount of storytelling and told in a very, very cool and unique way. The puzzles were cool. Like even getting frustrated in the puzzles, they gave me the tools that I needed to sort them out. The way that the three separate pieces, like, we started to see some themes and names and stuff kind of popping up, and then obviously the fourth one brings it all back around. I love how in the fourth one we also kind of like stepped backwards through all the original puzzle sequences. Man, what an interesting story. The horror elements of the three original are obviously much, I mean, I don't know how to describe, because obviously like the fourth story's still a horror story, right? Like how fucking horrible to have to relive that, to have to admit what the protagonist did. Like that's awful. But yeah, definitely a different type of horror. And look on our main menu, hang on, let me flash back over.
Yeah.
It has changed the picture of the House Abandoned video game cartridge to the recordings of our sessions with our doctor. I thought this was really cool. These little like micro experiences, right? These little like one sitting story games. I think of games like the Stanley Parable. Obviously, we've done some other walking sims on the stream. We did like Tacoma. Soma next? I don't think so. Very different kind of horror with Soma. This was neat though. It was not at all what I expected. I'm really glad I went into it blind, because obviously it could have been pretty easy to get a bunch of stuff spoiled in a game like this. But obviously that wasn't the case. Got to play through it, got to experience it. It was very, very neat. But now it is out of the backlog. This was kind of, I'm glad this one shaped up the way it did, because it's exactly what I was looking for. Just something we could blast through in a night. It brought some really interesting mechanics to bear, and is a very cool way to take classic retro gameplay and turn it into something new and fresh.